begin seated today. I am going to use a little blanket to sit on. Sometimes a folded up towel or pillow or something feels really nice to sit on. When we're at the beach, we can, of course, use the sand to kind of wiggle into. So wiggle into a pillow or a towel or a blanket or whatever, or the ground, whatever works. I don't need that next to me, Reginald. Welcome everybody, happy Sunday. So settle in, and your seat does not have to look anything like mine. Let it be what feels good to you. And guess what else? If your seat doesn't feel good, lay down on your back, do whatever. As always, it's your practice. I'm just here to guide you. So let's begin just kind of extending our arms up overhead for a moment. And let them linger there for a moment as you turn your gaze a little side to side and give attention first to your left arm and wrist and shoulder. Wiggle it around, maybe bend your elbow a couple times, and then turn to your right. Kind of feel that side of your body as you roll your wrist around and bend your elbow a couple times. Turn towards the center. Keep your hands up overhead and just breathe normally, although it'll intensify your breath just a little bit. Soften where you need to, and finally take a look up. Looking up feels really good, especially when things feel really heavy. And it can be as soft as it needs to be. Wiggle your fingers, roll your wrists again, close your eyes, and when you're ready, let your hands come together and slide them down like you're pulling them down a rope without tons of effort. Thumbs graze your forehead, slide down your nose, over your lips, all the way to your chin, and let those thumbs nestle right into that heart center. Kind of slide those shoulders down, let your arms nestle into, kind of like you're giving yourself a little hug. Feel a little more grounding, almost like you're pulling down, and you can feel your sits bones and knees drop down, hips open up. Keep your eyes closed or soften your gaze. Almost feel like you're gently being supported by a wall behind you. Shoulder blades drawing down, but this nice also rising up from the center of you as your breath lifts and expands through your chest, across your collarbones, through the crown of your head. And when you're ready, that emptying out, allow a little more softening. Continue just to follow the breath, but firmly press your thumbs into your heart center and your heart center into your thumbs. Just kind of touching base without a lot of thought or questioning or thinking. Just tuning into your rhythm and cadence this morning. And allowing whatever is here to be here. There's really no rhyme or reason sometimes. So going down that questioning rabbit hole of why or how to fix it. Instead, these strange but simple practice of recognizing and allowing. And always that option to shift your breath in any way. Join me dropping your hands now down by your sides. Let them sort of float down like they're parachutes coming down to the earth. Tense your fingers, roll your shoulders again. Walk your hands behind you now. Fingers pointed towards me, thumbs a little further back, finding a little seated back bend as you draw your heart forward, elbows draw back, head drops back. Once you find that sweet spot, touch base for a moment with your belly, strong belly, wiggle your toes, and let your head just kind of loll a little side to side with control. Maybe a smile. Okay if that smile's not coming. And as you take a breath in, slide back through center, leave your left hand behind you, slide your right arm all the way up and over, and we'll head into a little twist. You might draw that left hand a little further back. You might press into your knee. I really like that idea of drawing your gaze in the opposite direction to start, over that right shoulder to soften and sink it, and then come into that deeper twist as you look over your left. With your next breath in, let's slide all the way back through center. Take both hands overhead. take an exhalation into a forward fold. And if it's time for you to release whatever you're sitting on, feel free. For me, it feels really good, so I'm gonna stay here. You can walk your hands as far away from your body as you like. You could open them wide. You can walk them side to side. Do what feels good. And when you're ready to rise up, let's rise up. And we're not gonna shift other than take our feet wide for a moment. And you could be on your thing still and do a little side to side kind of pinwheel. So you're making this little kind of pinwheel with your legs and giving those hips a little awakening. The more you flex your feet, the more you're gonna feel it. And you can also layer on that little back bend we did, supported with your hands behind you, heart lifting, head dropping back, maybe a smile. And again, let me say hi and welcome everybody for joining on this Sunday in May. Holy mackerel. Meet me back in the center. Option to switch up your seat. You decide. Let's slice our arms up overhead. And before we go to the other side, give our triceps a little deliciousness. So take your left hand to your right elbow for a moment. Not only our triceps, but our side body. Let's pull up and over and kind of stop in that spot where you feel your belly engage. You need to press into that right knee thigh. Perhaps rotate your gaze to the sky. Make sure your shoulders are staying where they live. And as you inhale, rise up, let your palms connect and shift to the other side. So that's your right hand on your left elbow. Pull up and over, feel that left side body from all the way from your knee and hip through your side to your shoulder, and maybe rotate your gaze. Inhale, hands rise. As you exhale, we'll sweep those hands down and around behind us again and play with that supported back bend. Press your knees into the ground, wiggle your toes. Belly is textured and strong. Draw your elbows back and down, shoulders back and down. Heart lifts, head drops back. Maybe a little loosening of your jaw, or even opening and closing of your mouth, or wiggling it side to side. And of course, that head can also go side to side with a real softness or with a little more effort, up to you. But notice the movement of your head, how it actually connects to your belly. When you're ready, leave your right hand behind you, but come upright before you lift and stretch that left arm as far away from your body as you can, as you stay grounded through your seat. And then cross over, hand to knee or thigh. Sweep that right hand behind you. Lift through the crown of your head. Look over that left shoulder, invite it back down, and continue into that twist, looking over your right shoulder. Strong belly, wiggle your toes, soft through your shoulders, and breathe, breathe, breathe. When you're ready to let it go, slide back through center, take your arms up overhead, and let's dive into another seated forward fold. This time, just slide your whatever's under your booty if it's still there, as we ease back into a boat pose. If you're wondering where Daisy is, she's over there laying on the cement. I think that feels good to her. Plus, I got a little mad at her because she was chewing on things over here, so maybe she's a little leery of me. From your boat pose, let's stoke a little fire. Okay, we've done our stretching. Maybe add movements, roll your wrists, make a couple fists, point and flex your feet. Notice if you're hammocking, lift. If movement feels good, do a little lowering and lifting or a little twisting. You can always layer on, and you could take it down a little bit. Maybe plant your hands behind you, lift your heart, or keep your toes down if there's something that isn't feeling right. Listen to your body, please, and do what feels good. Let's take 5 more breaths here and really notice each breath, the depth and length of it. Notice what it's telling you, if you need to kind of take it down or maybe amp it up. I don't know about you, but I'm on about my 4th. And after this 5th breath, give yourself that nice rock and roll over to your hands and knees, finding your table. Palms underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Find that sweet rectangle Do a little, instead of rolling right into your cow and cats, just do a couple shoulder rolls first and uh, give attention not only to the backs of your shoulders, but the front across your collarbones. Think about wide, and then shift down to your belly, kind of a little in and out of your belly, noticing that texture. And then finally to your pelvis, just a little tilting back and forth before you begin those larger motions, using all of that motion as you grip the earth with your hands, spread them wide, use your fingertips, use your thumb and index finger especially, and then move through those cows and cats as you like. And it doesn't mean they have to be straight up cows and cats. There might be that sort of rolling around from tent pole to tent pole, kind of paying attention to each limb one at a time and layering on whatever other good stuff comes. If you're circling in any direction, maybe make sure to take your time to go in the other direction. And when you're ready, let's meet in a child's pose. Knees can get as wide or narrow as you like. I'm about to sit on Reggie's tail, so I got to move that around. And you can rest your forehead directly on the earth or on something. Let your hands open up or close, whatever the heck you like, as always. But nestle in. Allow this shape that you're making to offer you that that really safe and grounded space of surrender and coming back to this, recognizing and allowing whatever is here to be here. No judgment, no attachment. And in doing so, you're opening yourself up to release and to receive whatever you need. Wiggle into your hips a little bit, sway them a little side to side. I don't know about you, but my upper body definitely feels heavy and tight from all the things we're sort of layering on. So rise to your table and add that cow pose right away. Round into your cat. Keep the cat. And I've been doing this stretch lately. Walk your hands over to the right. Stay in a super strong cat pose. Knees are still in the table, your offset table. We're going to pull over to the left side. Let your hips drop over to that left heel. Now you can stay in just the way you've landed or adjust as needed. I'm going to play with maybe walking my left hand on top of my right fingers and gripping there and kind of wiggling in. Stay broad through your shoulders, perhaps movement in your head or neck. To come out of this, instead of coming exactly the way we came, I want you to slide back to a centered child's pose and pull your heart through your hands, get long on the ground. Human arrow time, take your hands down by your hips. Either press your palms into the ground, press them into your sides, or even take them behind you if you're ready for a little shoulder opening. Point your toes, press your forehead into the ground. On your inhalation, lift head and feet away. Hands can stay grounded, either on your booty if they're bound there, or on the earth, or lift. Again, let's see about 5 breaths here. And there can be movement in your head or neck. That feels really good to me. Feet can stay fused or open up, but just try to enlist and recruit parts of your body that may not be awake yet. I'm not counting my breaths. I'm sorry. Let's relax to the ground. I'm guessing that's about 5. Once you meet the ground, settle in and nestle your cheek on the earth for just a moment and feel that yummy rebound from that full body stretch back bend. Feel your heart beating. Guess what? We get to do one more. Again, your choice. I'm going to take my arms out like a T this time, a little more wide open space and real estate, and lift and fly. Notice if you're engaging your belly and booty and big muscles, quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, toes, tops of feet, shoulders driving down towards your hips, heart expanding, chest broad. Another breath. This time slide down and let the other cheek rest on the earth, and let your eyes close and just feel that nice yummy awakening of each muscle. Hands under shoulders, curl toes under, rise through a table. From your table, take your hips to your heels for a stretch through the soles of your feet. Wiggle your hips back, maybe pinch your fingers. That's always the way I kind of enjoy this stretch. A little more softness and mobility in my shoulders. Inhale back to table, right into a cat pose. Align yourself where you need to be, and this time walk your hands over to the left side of your mat. So your lower body is still in that table and the upper body is too, but it's like you're a slinky that moved to the side. Pull your hips across your body to that right hip. Nestle in. It can be the same, whatever layers you added. I'm gonna again walk my right hand on top of my left and pull, but make sure there's no edging into the pain, just the good stuff. A couple more breaths. Lately I do a lot of that I hope that's not bothering anybody. Inhale, walk your hands back to center. Okay, we pull hard through hands, get low on the earth again, extend and lengthen. This time our more traditional back bend from the earth. First, set yourself up just like we would if we were doing our low locust pose. Legs stay strong, but now they fuse to the ground and we extend and lift like we're pulling our spine up to either cobra, sphinx, or upward facing dog. Make sure it's the one that works for you. And we have 2 more chances. So explore any and all. Maybe find a shift where your hands need to be, a little difference, and most importantly, move with your breath. You can even hold one for the full complement of the time. Perfect. Next time we get to make our way to down dog, yippee. So maybe through a high plank, maybe through a table, but when you're ready, meet me, and you may already be there. Up to you. Make sure it works inside your body today. If it doesn't feel quite right, come down to table, readjust, reapproach. Shake your head a little side to side, bend your knees, maybe bend your elbows. Notice the upside down. We haven't quite been here yet, so see how that feels good or how it feels to you. Do any dancing you need and find stillness if that's best. Join me with a few breaths. And when you're ready, let's take our right foot to the sky. A pointing and a flexing and the usual rolling of your ankle. Bend your knee a couple times with your foot flexed. Be sure you're not hyperextending your lower leg to your left. Bend your knee now to open that hip if you like. Keep your foot flexed. Option to look underneath your armpit or stay square to the earth, really up to you, but notice what serves you. Keep your left leg grounded and strong. Re-extend your right leg. Exhale, knee to belly. Strong tiger pose and back to the sky. And we lower our foot to the ground. Before we come to the other side, meet me in a table. Come down to forearms for a moment. Give those fingers a pump. Roll your wrists, and if this is not something you need, you can flow through a little vinyasa or plank it or anything you like. From here, press back to a child's pose and feel that nice stretch of your arms. Forehead grazes the ground. And we'll do another little vinyasa. Pull your heart through your hands. Get long and low. Engage all those big muscles. Hands nestle in, elbows snug to your sides. Inhale to cobra, sphinx, or upward facing dog. Exhale to down dog. That can be through that high plank or even sort of a push-up, tabletop. You decide. Pedal it out, wiggle around. On your inhale, take your left foot high to the sky. Again, begin with that foot. Give it the love. Point, flex, maybe tick-tock it side to side. Awaken the inside of your leg. A bend in your knee. Feel the quadriceps and hamstrings. A bend of your standing leg, that right leg too. And then the careful opening of your hip, keeping your foot flexed. Notice the connection that your whole left side body opens up, a little more energy in your left hand. Option to look under either arm. And when you're ready, the re-extension of your leg as you inhale. Exhale, knee to belly. And back to the sky. Lower your foot to meet the earth. Look to your hands, bend your knees, and linger here for a moment. Play with a little tick-tocking, a little strengthening, a little heartbeat engaging, and then make your way a hop, a step, or a jump. All options, however you'd like to get there, or walk your hands back to your feet. Now drain, let your head drizzle. Heel toe your feet to make sure they are in the space they need to be. Bend your knees a lot so your belly and thighs can connect. Finally, release your hands to the earth with even more of a drizzle, kind of that nice sense of surrender. Soften your face. This time I want you to roll up to standing for our first mountain pose. Find that slow roll. Sometimes it feels like you're pressing a weight up, which we feel like we're lifting weights lately, I think too. Shoulders drop towards your ears. Take them down and around. Let your arms sweep by your sides. All right, we're gonna just drop our head to the right. Take your left arm out. Oh, I said the wrong direction. Well, I meant to say drop to the left. Doesn't really matter. As long as you're, whichever direction your head is dropped in, lift that arm up and over and just carefully, gently grip your head and imagine somebody is holding on to your opposite arm. Squeeze your inner thighs and find a really nice release across the side of your neck. As you inhale, release your arms wide, and we're going to go to the other side. First, just drop your arms down and add a shoulder roll. Like I said, these shoulders, man, maybe your stance needs to shift. Take a big breath in from the soles of your feet, lifting through the crown of your head, strong belly, tailbone dropped. Hands are like weights. Pull your head to the other side. I think I languaged you a little bit off, so just make sure you're doing it on the other side. Float your arm away from the direction your head is going. Float your arm, the other arm up to grasp the outer side of your head. And you're not, pulling down, you're really pulling open. Maybe a little more effort in, whichever leg it is, the leg on the side that you're reaching your hand away. You should feel a little more effort here. Cannot trust Daisy at all, just so you know. She's chewing on a blanket. And take both hands down. Roll your wrists around while you're here. Sweep your arms up overhead. Let them grasp your prayer. And pull that prayer down, hands to heart. Take a seat. Wiggle into your seat. Wiggle your hips down and around. And let's slide our hands down by our hips and do our little flying chair pose. Shoulders stay back down and around. Belly is really strong. We're going to do that little swimming twist. So it's a little tricky. So leave your right hand behind you and begin to reach your left hand forward, but we're twisting to the other side. So now it's that windmill motion as we twist to the left. Sit a little lower. Inner thighs are active. Knees might even squeeze. And remember, you don't have to sit lower. It's up to you. Now we're going to deepen the twist. So we're right here. We're just going to move our arms. So our left arm comes on the outer knee. I meant to say our right arm comes on the outer knee of our outer, thigh. You got me. Now, options here. You can stay as you are, or I invite you to take your palm down to connect, like you're kind of slicing through. Press your forearm into your thigh, press your thigh into your forearm. Strong belly, find length from your tailbone to the crown of your head. And as we inhale, strong and stable, kind of slice back up to mountain. Find a little softness here, a bend in our elbows, but strong in your base to lift through the crown of your head. Inhale, hands reach high. As you exhale, pull your prayer down, hands to heart center, and we'll find another chair. Slowly kind of arrange the way it feels to your benefit. Again, see about recruiting parts of your body that might not be really awake. Make sure your toes are active, but you're not death gripping your mat. Hands are sliding behind you now. You're flying again. Okay, this time we're going to float that right arm forward And then enlist both arms to windmill to the right. Yes, starting to lose my rights and lefts. That's always scary. From here, stay for a moment. Try not to think ahead. See about being present in whatever you're feeling. Have you kind of let go of your belly? Are you letting your low back kind of sway? Can you find a little more length even if you lift out of your seat? And now we'll kind of teeter with just our arms. Our lower body stays the way it is, and see if you can connect that forearm to the outside of your knee. Strong belly. Think about length in your spine. The weight is a little more in your heels. Now take your right hand down to connect with your left. Maybe press them a little further back, that forearm in, a little more energy, drawing your left hip back, strong belly, and we'll slice back up. Again, with the back bend, lift your heart, broad through your shoulders, gaze, inhale, hands meet. This time, interlace them, curl them inside out, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle a little bit, roll those shoulders in, and slide your hands to the base of your skull. Give yourself a little support and think about lifting your skull on top of your spine. Think about your body as masses and spaces, and you're kind of trying to pull the masses, like your head, away from some of the spaces, like your space across in your belly, and lengthen, 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 lengthen. With your exhalation, let's let our hands go, slide them down and back to that chair pose we love so much. From our chair pose, let's fly one more time, and I promise we're gonna not do any more chairs from this, well, for right now. Another breath in before we simply look to the left and invite that left shoulder back a little further. Notice what's happening in your belly as you gaze back to center and look all the way to the right. Again, what's happening in your belly? Come back to center, hands bind this time, press that fist back into space, but more importantly, fuse the heels of your hands while you're pulling them apart to awaken those arms and biceps and belly and back body. Big breath in takes you to your legs with your exhalation next. Heel toe your feet wider, all the way beyond your hips. Bend your knees with a little sort of drawing back in space. We're gonna twist with the bind. So bend your left knee, kind of taking your shoulder towards your left knee, lengthen your right leg. The bind can stay resting on the back of your body, or you could pull that fist away. Come back to center, belly towards your thighs. Begin to roll your right shoulder towards your right knee as you lengthen your left leg and take the bind away from you. Come back to center. Let's do that one more time, but we'll release our hands. First, lift halfway up to our flat back so your head's above your heart. Your bind can stay, your knees can have a nice bend in them, but think about lengthen your spine and head above heart for a moment. With our exhalation, we fold, but notice how I'm keeping my hips back in space. This time, release your left hand down in front of your face. Bend your left knee, take your right leg long, right hand rises, and my turkey dogs make noise. Take your hand all the way back towards your booty, and then leaving your booty reaching back, reach your hand up overhead and all the way down to the earth. Bend your knees. Okay, right hand stays grounded, right knee bends, left hand rises, and we sweep our hand all the way back by our booty. Keep your hips drawn back in space. Pull your hand up overhead. Belly is strong. Both hands connect to the earth and we fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Okay, right foot stays rooted or maybe it walks forward. We're headed down to a low lunge. Knee meets the ground. Find that nice 90-degree angle. Enlist those strong inner thighs. Take your hands to your thighs. Maybe interlace them. Press away like you're pushing something with your back body. Shoulders draw back down and around. Inner thighs are active. Slide your hands now by your hips. Reach your hands up overhead. As we exhale, we're going to twist to the right. Oh, inner thighs super active, stay here. This is perfect. Or perhaps find that little exalted low lunge as you take your hand back to find something. It might touch your leg. Press your leg up into your hand instead of pressing your hand into your leg, or wrap your hand around your back body. Inner thighs drawing together. Oh, we're gonna head into our twist, our low lunge twist. Left palm comes down, roll open, maybe curl your toes under if you want to peel that knee away from the ground. And with your exhalation, both hands frame your foot. Heading back to downward dog, or action to move through that vinyasa we do. So either come to your three-legged dog and do anything you like from there, or you could join me in a high plank, a little chaturanga dandasana, where we slide forward, lower down, and that could be from your knees or a table. Inhale to cobra, sphinx, or upward facing dog like we do, and find your way home to down dog. So that's always an option, like a little detour run around the block, pedal your feet, shake your head side to side. Inhale, lift your gaze, bend your knees, strong belly as you hop, step, or jump your feet forward to a fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Two more. Halfway lift with your breath. Shoulders slide down and around, strong belly. And the final halfway. Exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive to your standing. Again, back bend of your choice, which can mean sort of our cactus, our extended or supported with hands at your low back. Cue to side. Hands meet. Then we pull a prayer. Slide down, not all the way. Chair. From our chair pose. Teeny detour for a teeny wee bit of balancing. With our inhalation, first arm slide up by our ears, biceps by ears. Lift through the palms of your hands like you're pressing a medicine ball. Picture a heavy medicine ball. Weight in your left foot, begin to peel your right heel away. Lift this heavy medicine ball up, please. Before we come down, wide angle back bend. Inhale, lift, medicine ball, lower down, foot to the ground, slide your hands down by your hips. Couple breaths, easy peasy, arms back up, or don't. You don't have to do the medicine ball with your arms. Your hands can stay by your heart center too. Press into that right foot as you lift your left. Option for the back bend if you want. Inhale, lift. And we lower, hold onto the medicine ball. It'll stabilize you as your feet meet the ground, hands fly. Bind, press fist back in space. Exhale, fold to your legs. Keep the bind for a moment if you like. Wiggle into a little hip shimmy. Lower your hands to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Left foot stays rooted, right foot steps back to a low lunge. Knee meets the ground. Find your foundation, strong inner thighs. Interlace your fingers, press them into your thigh. Lift that back body like you're lifting a bit of a weight. So your torso is like you're standing up in mountain pose. Inner thighs are active. Let's slide our hands down by our hips and then sweep them up overhead like we're in a warrior one. Now we'll open, revolve. A little more energy in that left foot, drawing that left hip back. This is so good right here. So there's no need, but if you're feeling the need, tip back, touch your thigh, and by touching it, try to engage wherever you're touching. So you're pressing your leg into your hand, kind of finding a little more energetic lift rather than just dumping in. From here, with control, from the belly, from the center of you, come down to your revolved low lunge. Right palm rooted, left hand high, press back if you want. Curl your toes under, lift your knee away if you like. Exhale, hands to the earth. Frame your foot. Left foot steps back in space to wherever you want it to go. Maybe your child's pose. Maybe your three-legged dog. Maybe your plank to chaturanga. Or maybe you're just planking it because you feel like planking it. You decide. You're at home. You can do whatever you want as long as you're not causing yourself any harm. Ah. Okay, we're gonna begin a little more fluid flow here. Bend your knees, hop, step, or jump your feet forward, and just drizzle into the fold for a moment. Don't let anticipation get you. Don't even worry about it. This is easy peasy stuff. But first, I want you to just tune in and come back to the recognizing and allowing, letting this be your medicine for the day. Filling up your well. Release your hands to the earth. Once again, press to the soles of your feet. Press round up to standing, unfurl, arms float all the way up and overhead. And as they meet up here, grab onto your bar on the playground and pull your heels away from the ground, finding your wide angle back bend from here. Enlist your belly. We're gonna see if we can stay balanced on our heels as we lower down, hands come to heart. Heels stay lifted like you're wearing high heels. Keep your heels as high as you can, maybe. Really nice for ankles and calves. Oh, when you're ready, lower your heels, dive back down to your fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. All right, right foot stays rooted, left foot steps back to a low lunge. Here again, we twist. Left palm rooted, right hand rises. Exhale, both hands meet the earth. Lower the sole of your foot to warrior two stance. Inhale, begin to windmill up. Rise to warrior two. Find your stance if it needs any wiggling or adjusting. Draw your shoulders wide. Let's take our arms in front of us for a moment and just roll your shoulders. And then fuse your hands behind you for a moment. Press your fists back in space and consider your tailbone like your fist dropping down like a weight. Keeping that bind, lift your head back, almost like you're doing a reverse warrior, but without your arms. Maybe slide your hands around to that right hip. Now stay in this reverse warrior, but unwind the bind and add your arms in. Arms can stay up. Left arm can come down. Okay, let's come through center and stay low. Think about your legs not moving unless you need them to. Okay, let's again find a bind, but the funky grip this time. Awkward grip. We're gonna pull our fist in the opposite direction of our head to come to our extended side angle. A super strong anchoring through that left foot. Maybe roll your chest open as your bound fist comes down and around to your right hip. Actually keep your elbow drawn in. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. All right, when you're ready, let the wind, unbind. No wine yet. Lift your, maybe come to your traditional extended side angle or whatever version you like. Our inhale is gonna take us all the way up. Arms are wide, pivot your toes in, wide angle stance. Wide angle stance again with the bind. Swim your arms in front of you, all the way behind you. Fuse that fist together, press that fist down, heart reaches high. Exhale takes us to the fold again. Whoosh. Head drops down. Bind can stay or release when you want. Anything you want is welcome here. I encourage you to do some movement. Play with a little side to side movement or a twist. Or the movement can be just the pendulum of the weight of your head hanging down and swaying a little side to side. Layering on just a wee bit. Let's pivot our heels in and our toes out. Keep the bind if you still got it as you rise up to your horse pose with a bind. We're gonna do one more yummy neck shoulder release. Release the bind. Then I want you to take your left hand and grab your right wrist, okay? And you're gonna pull down. And while you're pulling down, lift your head up and over to the left. Woo! Don't forget your legs. I know you can't forget them because they're firing. Sit a little lower, pull a little more. And when you're ready to let it go, soften and let go and rise to star. I know. Good news, that part's over. Don't know if it's bad news, but we got to do it on the other side. So come back down. Now you'll take your left hand to grab your right wrist and pull it down. Sit a little lower perhaps. Weight into your baby toe side, inner arches pulling high. Ooh, I'm gonna fall over myself if I'm not careful. And then lift your head up and over now to the right. Ooh, ah, God, I make a lot of noise. Sorry, everybody. Heating up, yes, I am. Come back to center. Release your hands and rise. Okay, to Trikonasana we're headed. So pivot your toes now. Arms are wide. Reverse. Find some space through that right side body. Anchor through your left. Open wide. Maybe capture that tug of war rope and find some length. And when you can't go any further, dive in. Take your gaze to the sky. Adjust anything you need to. Layer on anything you want to. Couple more breaths here. Broad through your shoulders. To make our descent, begin to bend that knee. We're gonna head right down to our low lunge again. Pivot to the ball of your foot. Twisting again. Strong belly from the center of you. Hands come down to the earth. Again, back to downward dog, back to table, back to anything, or through that little chaturanga. Maybe you even hover your right foot as you lower through your chaturanga, heart lifting, strong belly, shoulders back. Make your way, but again, never hurting yourself. Gaze lifts, heels lift, bend your knees, hop, step, or jump, beat forward to the fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Headed right to the other side. Right foot steps back to a low lunge. Knee can stay lifted or not. To the twist, left hand rises. Exhale, hands to the earth. Lower the sole of your foot on this side. Find your strong stance. Begin to lighten the load in your fingertips as you windmill open to warrior two. Take your time to find it. Relax your arms again. Roll your shoulders. Not death gripping, but enlisting those spaces that might have gotten a little passive, inviting everybody to the party. Now take your hands behind you again. Maybe the awkward grip this time. Press that fist down as you pull your tailbone down and lift through the crown of your head. Again, we're reversing just with our sort of torso. Both feet stay fused. Strong legs, easy breath. Squeeze the heels of your hands once more. Maybe slide them to the right hip. And then I want you to let that go and let your arms float up to your traditional reverse warrior, whatever version you like. Super yummy stretch here. Inhale back through center. Hands float back down, whichever grip you choose. Take a big breath in. Now we peel forward, lengthening through that side angle of our body. Make sure you're not hijacking your ribs, your low back. Think of your body like a plank, strong and long, and enlisting what you need. Rotate your gaze. Maybe wrap those hands around to that left hip. Draw your elbows back. Strong feet. And then release that bind. Find that traditional side angle. Woo-hoo. Elbows drawn in, shoulders drawn in. Inhale takes us up to standing again. Here, okay, I'm just making sure we have enough time. Walk your toes into our wide angle stance again. Arms are wide, palms come up as you exhale. Oh no, yes. Horse pose again, but not for long. Not too bad, stuff we've done before. Just some sweet shoulder stuff again. Slice your arms down in front of you and then float them to the sides. Eagle arms, left under right. Find that wrap. Pay attention to your lower body too, strong belly. You could be as low and higher, as high as you want. Pulse the fingers and elbows up. Maybe look up. Exhale, round them down. We're not gonna come all the way down. Maybe you're parallel to the ground. Inhale back to center. And now we'll go around the clock one time in this direction. So just around, kind of hovering in front of your knee, in front of your ankle. sweeping across the center, using that strong base of you to control the tempo, evening it out, trying not to speed up as you come up. And then I want you to rise, keep the bind, pivot toes in, loosen your grip, and let your elephant trunk take you into the fold. Sway as much as you like or as little as you like. Here's Daisy as my little support. Oh, pretty girl, yes. Then unwind the bind when you're ready. Float your arms out wide, or hands can be at hips as you rise. Take arms up overhead, pivot heels in, sit back to horse. Arms are wide, right arm under left this time. Find the eagle, shoulders go where they live, any wiggles are welcome. Stay low as you pulse your elbows in line with your shoulders, at least hands high, strong belly, maybe look up, booty strong. And as you exhale, round in, but we're not coming down more than kind of this kind of crunchy cat. Inhale back through center, but now your shoulders are broad. We'll go in the other direction, pivoting, looking to the right, and come down towards your heel. Sweep across the center of you. Come up and slow it down, even though you want to speed it up. Meet in the middle, sit low. Rise up, keep the bind, toes pivot in, soften a little bit, and dive. Oh, yes. And when you get down here, whatever you need, the wiggles, the sways, the bends of knees, then the soft unwinding, letting gravity release those eagle arms. Hands on hips or wide or bound, whatever you like, but use the idea of lifting a not too heavy weight with your back body, so you're enlisting your strong legs, and we trikonasana on this side. So find that stance. Let's reverse. Arm comes back, open up through the left side body, strong in that left leg. As we come parallel to the ground, capture your tug of war rope. Commit to grounding through that right side as you reach and lengthen and stay open through your left. And then toggle those arms through space. Wherever you're touching, again, the idea of pressing your leg into your hand, not pushing your hand into your leg. So strong legs, lift and lengthen, finding space between the masses. Creating, reclaiming, I should say. Another big breath in. And when you're ready to bend in your knee, a careful, controlled descent, pivoting back to your low lunge, you'll probably lengthen that stance. Your knee can come down, your left hand rises, and with our exhale, both hands to the ground. Slide your left foot to the sky this time. Everybody meet in a downward facing dog. Let's bend our knee, open our hip for a moment, roll your ankle. We're gonna head into pigeon pose, but first a little tiger. So take your knee to your nose, back to the sky, and then a little revolved all the way across the opposite elbow. And then we get to do our pigeon. Knee to same side elbow. Take your toes across your body, lower that shin down. Remember now, pigeon pose is essentially for our hip, but we don't want to hijack our knee in the meantime. Turn around so you can maybe see me a little bit better. So your knee is probably a little wider than your hip. You might stick a blanket or a pillow underneath that left booty because your hips are side by side in space. I like to flatten the top of my foot behind me personally, and then come down either to the forearms or all the way resting head on hands or on the earth. For some of you, if your knee is not happy, just a reminder, I know most of you know this, but I can't see you, so I want to make sure you're happy. If that feels uncomfortable or not good, come over and do a figure 4 on your back. That's this version. And you could grab onto the back of your thigh or leave your foot on the ground and press into that. That'll be the same thing. So whatever you're doing, make sure your body is happy. You're more than welcome to layer on yumminess. where it needs, but make sure to ease off if you ever have those signs of warning. Breathe, come back to your breath. We've moved and I hope challenged you where you've needed it. On our way out, let's see if we can find just a little back bend. So hands underneath shoulders, strong legs pressing the ground away, feet active. Draw your hands a little further back so you could draw your shoulders back and lift your heart up. Make sure you're not dumping into your low back so your booty is strong and your belly is strong. Maybe even your hands lift. That's not necessary. Hands come down and we come back to our down dog. Curl your toes under, float your left foot back in space, three-legged down dog to your choice of anything. Maybe it's a opening of that hip again, or just an extension, or you can opt for flipping your dog, where you would cross that floating leg over your other and begin to open up into that upside down doggy. When you're ready, come back through center, arrange your down dog, make it feel good and supported. Find your breath, shoulders are wide. Inhale your right foot high. Exhale, knee to belly, really rounding through, take it into your nose, foot to the sky. Exhale, knee to opposite elbow, a little tap and twist, and back to the sky. And here comes the pigeon on this side. Knee to same side elbow, toes come across, knee slides to the outside. But again, it's very personal. So there's no universal standard other than making sure your body's happy, because everybody's different. When you're ready, arrange lower, come on down and make it work for you. Point your toes, soften your neck. Maybe action something that works for you, meaning like a little wiggles of toes or walking your hand somewhere, or perhaps really that full surrender is best, or a little bit of both. But come back to the recognizing and allowing what is here to be here. And that's not just physical and it's not just mental. It's all the layers. Spiritual, energetic. And just consider this this practice as the don't overthink it. Essentially, you're just taking it one breath at a time. It's the best we can do, and that's pretty impressive. When you're ready, take your hands underneath your shoulders, walk yourself out of it. Let's find that little back bend again. So use your strong legs. You got to engage the muscles in your legs to find that kind of buoyancy. Shoulders draw back. Maybe your fingertips draw back. You're enlisting your booty, your belly. Lift your heart. Maybe lift your gaze. Oh yeah. Maybe lift your hands. You don't have to. When you're ready to come out of it, hands fuse to the ground. Curl your toes under. It's like you're doing a push-up. Pull that foot back into the sky. Three-legged dog. And whatever the heck you want from here. Open, swirl, cross over, flip your dog. Gonna end up in the dirt if I'm not careful. And when you're ready, meet me back. Downward facing dog. Okay. We're gonna hop, step, or jump our feet forward to our final standing pose. Roll right up to standing. Take your arms overhead. That went so quickly. Pull your prayer to your heart center. Step wide angle stance. From our wide angle stance, you know me, I can't help but do a beach ball back bend. So before you rush into it, wiggle into your feet, a little wiggle into those knees. Drop your hands in front of you. Feel your tailbone drop if you need to do a little kind of pelvis tilt, shoulders drawn back. Press your palms forward. Press your palms together. And then picture a band around your hands. And I want you to pull this band open slowly. So there's resistance. So you're enlisting a little more effort in your legs, in your belly, and everything. And from this space, press into your feet, lift the crown of your head, Now find your beach ball back bend. Reach out through the backs of your hands, press through the soles of your feet, lift your heart, press through the back of your head, but really lift the crown of your head. Drop your tailbone, belly still active and strong. It's almost like you're so strong somebody couldn't tip you over if they tried. Inhale back through center. Now invite some softening. Soft bend in your knees, and we'll swan dive down to our fold. Headed down to the earth, this is your chance to do anything on your way down. So if your body is craving a little more upside downness, you can do a headstand or crow pose. You can play with what I'm doing, a little side to side lunge. You can layer on a twist. You can do anything you want. Let's take a few breaths here before we come down to the earth. Paying attention, continuing to be nice to yourself. And whenever you find yourself ready, heel toe your feet back towards the center, headed down to the ground. You can make your way through a little malasana pose. Elbows in towards your, elbows in on your inner thighs, in between your knees, palms together, heart lifted. Legs are strong and active. You're not just slumping in. Breath coming easily. Maybe a little more space to move that head and kind of pull your head away from your tailbone. Couple more breaths here. This feels really good. And if it doesn't, of course, don't be here. And when you're ready, meet me in a seat. We're going to head right to a little boat pose from whence we started. Shoulders drawn down and around, feet, toes can touch, hands can be behind. You do you. But now we're super grounded. Can pay attention to a little heart lifting, maybe hands lifting, maybe legs lifting. Let's see, about 3 breaths. I know I keep doing that. And with that final breath, come right in for a hug. Wrap yourself up. Feel the sort of heat from that heartbeat. Close your eyes. Invite the hug. Whatever pops up, that epic hug with people you love. And that might be one you're giving or receiving or all of it all jumbled together. But whatever it is, let it be for you first and foremost. Be sure to layer on the I love you, very important. And then feel free to add in a couple extras to send out and offer to somebody or just out into the universe. Or if you need some extras for yourself, do those too. And finally, let go before we come down to our backs. We'll do a Paschimottanasana, so wiggle your booty around, let your legs arrange themselves in the way they want. And instead of arms diving up this time, unless you want, let them be on the ground and kind of walk your hands towards your feet as you dive in. Feel the backs of your legs, feel the back of your body. Feel the heaviness of your head, softening of jaw and eyes, knowing that you've done the work. Just a few more preparatory poses for Shavasana. If you haven't, do a little wiggling of toes, maybe flexing and pointing. Lift your gaze, engage, awaken that belly a bit, and either lift or walk your hands back out the way you came. Your knees come in and we'll roll down to our backs. Lower down as quickly or as slowly as you'd like. And once we meet on the ground, slide those knees into your chest and give yourself a little just rolling around, spreading through the back of your body. Heading into our twist. Left knee stays grounded at your chest, right leg extends and lengthens. Feet can flex, point, roll, whatever you like. You can always grasp behind your thigh. You could pull that knee in as snug as you'd like. But again, think about your back body really grounding and spreading as much as possible, that creating space. When you're ready, our twist. For most every human, a little bump of our hips to the left allows for some space as you draw your knee across your body open your arm wide of your body, meaning that left arm. Look over your left hand. And of course, you're welcome to arrange anything in any way you'd like. This knee you've drawn across your body, this left knee. Typically, you want your knee a little bit higher than your hip, just to be nice to that back body, never causing harm. Never need to overstretch that space. Strong awareness of your belly. Not super engaged, but still some awareness and texture there. Excuse me, tickle in my throat. Breathe, soften, sink. And as you get acclimated to the stillness, watch your breath and ride it. So ride your breath back to the center, like you're in the ocean. Oh, yay. Once you meet, slide your feet to the ground, arrange your body for a bridge pose in between sides. Lift your hips when you're ready, nestle your shoulder blades underneath you. Find some length in your back of your neck, but not any deep pressure in the back of your head. More using the strength of your arms, backs of your shoulders, and feet to lift and lengthen that spine. Use your full exhalation to lower down. And once your tailbone meets the ground, kind of loosen your grip, soften, get a little more jello-y as you slide your right knee and left leg long. Now, again, I said jello-y, but this can be as, some people really like to pull and hover. Some people like soft. So do your thing. The right thing is the thing you need. When you're ready, we twist. Bump your hips, take your knee in towards your chest and draw it across your body. That right arm goes wide of you if it can, or maybe a cactus if you've got a crazy dog in your way. Arrange your body. There might be some wiggles that offer some more comfortable surrender. And if you're somebody that needs a little wiggling and energizing, you can do a little bit of that too, but allow yourself a few breaths of doing nothing. And then in the stillness, acclimating yourself to this surrender, find your breath, your cadence and rhythm, and move with it like a wave back through center. Again, we'll do one more bridge pose, a final back bend, neutralize your spine. Any back bend will do. Maybe it's supported. Maybe you put a block or a pillow underneath your low back. Maybe you pop up into your full wheel pose, which I wouldn't suggest unless it's something you practice already. But whatever you want, find your own. Lift your hips. Maybe lift your heels. Maybe clasp your hands. Maybe walk your shoulders further underneath you. You do you. But find those final controlled breaths to descend. I'm going to take my hands up overhead and peel my shoulders away and list a super strong, slow descent, stretching my spine wide. Capture the backs of your thighs with your hands into happy baby or whatever inversion you guys want. I don't know if you can hear it, but Daisy's snoring. So find your way, your happy baby, and then it's Shavasana. So make your way. If there's something else you didn't do, go for it, or join me in Shavasana. Lay your body down, surrender, close your eyes. You've done the work. So find anything you need. Maybe it's a pillow or a blanket. But enjoy this this sense of surrender, of being totally held up by the earth without any effort. You've done all the work. The efforting is over. So you've opened all these spaces so the energy can flow without impediment, in and out. That filling up, the expansiveness across your chest, from the tailbone to the crown of your head, and this oh so lovely softening that you feel at the back of your neck, at your eye sockets, at your jaw, down to your collarbones and shoulders, from your fingertips to your hips and side bodies, all the way down to your feet. And the breath continues to fill you with this effortlessness, this buoyancy, this state of peace and calm that you've created with this recognizing and allowing without judgment or attachment. And in this natural state that you created, let go of anything that might need a little extra push. There's no push necessary, just this intention to let go of any heaviness, anything that no longer serves you, anything negative, any fear, doubt, or stress that isn't helping you. Let it out. And as you inhale, be filled, and let this inhale and each one that follows be your reminder that you are whole, you are complete, you are enough. A source of peace and of joy, of strength and beauty, of imagination and creativity, of resilience, but way bigger than all of those things put together, times a million, a source of love for yourself, the key, and love for others. And the reminder that you're perfect just as you are in each and every moment. Know that you can stay here as long as you need to. Give yourself the gift of letting your practice sink in, letting all these reminders that we need to hear and practice uh, just kind of sink in way down deep at a cellular level on all levels, physical, mental, spiritual. And only when you're ready, begin to first become aware. Notice how you feel. Watch your breath. Maybe feel the spaces, feel the masses. Continue the practice of no judgment, no attachment. And then begin a little bit of movement as you continue to let that connection seal in this practice of paying attention without judgment or attachment, cultivating the state of peace and calm. Roll to one side if you haven't already. Perhaps feel the groundedness, a little offering gratitude to Mother Earth, and then shoot that positive vibe to whomever you'd like to today. Maybe it's you. And then when you're ready, join me seated, and we'll see you in our Sunday, May 17th, 2020 practice. So when you're ready, we'll sit. I get to touch a sleeping giant doggy. You could touch your heart center. Maybe I'll do a little bit of both. Take a big breath in and send some gratitude out for whatever you're grateful for today. It's always helpful to try to find one thing at least. Then shift your gratitude to yourself, which is a great thing to be thankful for today, for taking the time to take care of yourself. What a huge gift, especially now. Finally, out to the side, touch your imaginary sand on either side of you. Open your palms and then sweep and gather and seal in our practice together from all corners of the United States. And then send out any extra good stuff we've got. Grab what you need, hands to heart. Drop your gaze one more time, and please allow me to offer you my humble thanks and blessings. It is such a joy and pleasure, and you are helping me more than you know, joining me for yoga. Namaste, yogis.